Do you know what this is?
A Bible?
Close. It's a daily Bible. See? It lets you read a little bit of the Bible, and then you ask some questions about it.
That's cool.
Is the Bible a big book?
No. It can.
Well, this is pretty big, right?
Yeah.
So it's easier to just read one page a day, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so what Dad's been doing is reading this with people, and this way they can connect with God every day.
So you could answer questions about the Bible.
Yeah. And that will help you know it better, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So today we're going to talk about forgiveness. All right? I'm going to read this out loud. Do you know what a funeral is?
Yeah. It's when people die that you love.
Yeah. And you go wish them farewell?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So it says, after the funeral, we're reading Genesis. This is the first book of the Bible. It's Genesis chapter 50, verses 15 through 21. So we're pretty far into this part of Genesis. So it says, after the funeral, Joseph's brothers, remember Joseph, he's the one who had the colored cloak?
Yeah.
Yeah, the colored coat.
They almost killed him. I don't know.
Yeah, so that's what we're going to talk about today. That's crazy that you know that story.
Yeah, I had my own miniature Bible, and I read all of it every Christmas.
Awesome. Well, then you're on the right track. All right, so now you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So after the funeral, Joseph's brothers talked among themselves. And you know what they were worried about? What if Joseph is mad that we betrayed him? Because they tried to hurt him, right? They tried to actually kill him.
Yeah, but he is always forgiving. I think he's kind of worried, or like a little mad because it's death or life.
Yeah.
He's probably just the tiniest bit mad, but he's really forgiving, right?
Yeah, we're going to hear about that. So he says, what if Joseph is carrying a grudge? What if he's still mad at us and wants to pay us back for what we did to him? That's what the brothers are worried about. So the brothers send a message to Joseph. Joseph's in Egypt. Do you know where Egypt is?
Yeah, it's where
The pyramids are?
Yeah.
And then Israel, think of Egypt down here and Israel up here.
Mm-hmm.
I have the map over there, but they can't see it.
Yeah.
So they're sending messages to each other. And they're saying...
kind of like a messenger bird.
Yeah. So they sent Joseph a message, and they said, before his death, your father gave this command. Tell Joseph to forgive your brothers' sins, that when they messed up, all that wrongdoing. They did treat you very badly. Will you do it? Will you forgive their mistakes?
Yes.
Let's see what he decides. When Joseph got that message, do you know what he did? He cried. He cried. Let's see what happens, why he cried, okay? Then the brothers went in person to him. So they stopped sending messages and they went to go see their youngest brother, who's now in charge of all of Egypt. And they said, they saw him and they bowed down to the ground and said, we'll be your slaves.
No slaves.
Yeah. So Joseph replied, don't be afraid. Do I act for God? Don't you see? You wanted to be bad to me, but God used your bad plans to turn it into good. Right?
Yeah, that's a twist ending.
It is a twist ending. And it says, so God used those same plans for my good, as you see all around you now. Right?
Yeah.
He was such a good leader that when they ran out of food, Joseph saved enough food to feed everybody.
Yeah.
So if that bad thing didn't happen to Joseph, then all of the good things wouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
What a twist, right? So easy now, Joseph says to his brothers, you have nothing to fear. I'll take care of you and your children. Your family, after all, right?
Yeah.
He reassured them, speaking with them heart to heart. So, the author of this book, Eugene Peterson, wants us to take some time. Hold on. So he says, easy now, you have nothing to fear. I'll take care of you and your children. He reassured them, speaking with them heart to heart. So Eugene Peterson, the author of this book, says you should read that part of the Bible and then you should think about it. It says read the passage again, this time out loud, and we did that. Listen for a word or phrase that touches your heart. When you finish, close your eyes and recall the word or phrase, taking it in and mulling it over. After a few moments, you can write it down. Don't write anything else. Since we don't have a pen and paper, what's the word that stands out most for you in this passage? What do you think?
I kind of heard I forgive you, so that's
forgiveness.
Yeah, so that's kind of the passage of the book, so I think that's what stands out the most.
So they talk about forgiveness, but they show you how to forgive, right?
Yeah.
Through Joseph's story.
Mm-hmm. And
he forgave somebody trying to, all his brothers hurting and betraying him. Imagine if he can do that, can't we learn from his story about how to forgive others?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so forgiveness. You were right. Because guess what this is all about?
Forgiveness!
You got it. It's called a picture of forgiveness. And I know you were really listening. And that's important. So then we pray about it. Read the passage aloud again. And we're encouraging people to pause this, go back and read it, right?
Yeah.
So you pause it after I read this to you. It says, read the passage aloud again, searching for how forgiveness is illustrated in the text. And you could just rewind it too and listen to it again if you don't have a Bible in front of you. But you should get one. You could download one on your phone.
Yeah.
Yeah. So read the passage aloud again, searching for how forgiveness is illustrated or shown in the text. Think about what it feels like to be the forgiver. Sometimes it's hard to forgive, right?
Yeah. Because sometimes if it's I would have very hard time forgiving, if I was almost killed from my brothers, I would definitely have a hard time forgiving.
Yeah. So think about what it feels like to be the forgiver. So that's hard.
Yeah.
As well as what it feels like to be the forgiven. How does it feel when you're forgiven? It feels good, right?
Yeah. I feel like I'm fine and I'm happy and my life is normal again.
Yes. So it feels good, right?
Yeah.
How is this expression of love meaningful to you? So Eugene Peterson wants us to write down some of how those things make us feel. Because it's important to remember that forgiveness is two-sided, right? Mm-hmm. There's the forgiver and the person being forgiven. Mm-hmm. And one person has it really hard to forgive, and the other person
has a really hard chance of losing forever.
Because you said when you felt forgiven, you went back to normal.
Yeah.
Everything was fine. But when you're not forgiven, everything's not fine.
Yeah, you feel like you're down to deep levels and...
Yeah. It's not a good feeling.
D-I-E.
Yeah. That you feel like death.
Yeah.
It's crushing,
your heart just breaks.
Yes, that's the word heartbreak. Yeah. Okay, you described it perfectly. So it says, read it one more time, and that way we could just listen. then stop and listen for what God is inviting you to do or become this week. Maybe God is inviting you to forgive.
Yeah.
So he says this, perhaps his invitation will have to do with a new perspective on who you are in his eyes, or maybe you sense an action he is calling you to take. After your prayer, write down what you feel you are invited to. So, do we meditate at home and pray?
Yeah.
So those are the times when you should just sit. It doesn't take long, maybe a minute or two.
Yeah.
And you're thinking about how to forgive and what it feels like. Now you know the whole picture of forgiveness. It's not just one-sided, right? It's two-sided. So now he wants us, after we pray, he wants us to live it out. So he says, take time to meditate on the following quote from the Common Book of Prayer, and let it become your own. Let not the needy, O Lord, be forgotten, nor the hope of the poor be taken away. So there's our daily devotion. I hope it helps. We'll see you again either tomorrow or a couple days in the future.
Yeah.
But I hope that you are, this can give you some time to order the book, or you can just listen along and follow. God bless.